record on this computer. So now what we're going to learn today, we already know the basic of SQL or MySQL. For now, you don't need to know more than the basic. For tomorrow or after tomorrow, I'm going to teach you also how to alter a table. That means if you want to add another column, if you want to rule back, that's for you make a mistake, you want to go back, there is a function to do so. That's all cool, but you need to understand that in real application, we don't build a table every day. Okay, because building a table, you need first to design your database very carefully. And you have the data, but you just need to know how to query your data. Now, it's very nice to use SQL syntax, but in most of the modern application, we don't really write query ourselves. We have something called an ORM, Object Relational Mapper. So we just ask the ORM. So ORM provide you with some function. Give me this one, for example. Give me the user with this ID. I will pass the ID, and it will do this job for me. I will say, for example, update this user. I will just pass the ID and the new data, and will do that for me. So as we will learn next week when we use the ORM make our life very, very easy, and it's more secure. But for now, let's learn what can we do. So as you can see, this is an old application. It doesn't matter. You can choose any project we built before. The first step we need to do, we need to install a library. So what is this library? So if I go to here, we have a library which is called MySQL to NPM. So if I go to MySQL here, that's the library we're going to use to connect our Express application into MySQL here. Of course, you already need to have SQL Server installed on your machine, as you know, which we did already. And now what we need to do, we need to install this guy here. So we need to say npm install MySQL 2. If you are using TypeScript, you can install the type as well, but we are not using TypeScript. npm I MySQL 2. Cool. Now, after I install MySQL 2, where is it? That's MySQL 2 here. That's L. So MySQL 2, okay? After we install this guy, we need to come to the configuration and we need to add some configuration. Well, currently, I don't know what to do because I did not create this library. So maybe click on the documentation and it will take me to the documentation, which I'm going to share with you. If you want to have a more look on MySQL here, MySQL 2, MySQL 2, voila. So to use MySQL here, I need to somehow define some connection, make a connection. I need to make a connection between my application, which is Express Node application, and MySQL Server. And in order to do so, you just go to the documentation and see how can we do that. Do we have anything here? No, nothing important. Where is, how can we create a pool? Voila, that's this one, I think. On MySQL to create connection. Before connection, I need to create a pool. Okay, if you go through this guy, you have different documentation here. They're creating a pool. They're not creating a pool, they're creating a connection directly. I don't like this stuff. So let me start with, anyways, that's the documentation. I will teach you how to do it my way. So first I need to import MySQL inside. So configuration, as I told you here, it's for my database configuration. That's me. I need to add some configuration settings so I will be able to connect my Express application to whatever database I am using. So if for MongoDB, it's the same idea. I need to add some configuration here. So what are the configuration? First, I need to import. What do I need to import? MySQL. I need to import it from MySQL. What was the name of the library? MySQL 2/promise. So what I'm going to do, are you with me, guys, or are you sleeping? Hello?
Yes, we are with you.
So I'm going to import the library. Of course, the library is called MySQL 2. I'm not going to name it MySQL 2. I don't care. I will just import MySQL from MySQL 2/promise. Why /promise? Because now you will learn from now on that whenever we are dealing with a database, this task is async task. Why? Because whenever I require something or to do something with my database, this operation, it will take some time. That means it must be an async task because it will take some time simply. And I need to import something else. So I'm going to import .env from .env. Can anyone tell me why I am importing .env here? I mean, I'm already importing .env here. Why I am importing it here again? What's the reason? Yeah.
Probably will have some secret keys.
Yes. So in reality, not all operation system will have this problem, but if the .env is if I'm using .env inside the index, I can just import it. It's fine. But if the .env not inside the same folder, so because the .env is not here, and I'm trying to access it here, some operation system will not be able to identify where .env is. So I need to tell my configuration here. I need to tell, okay, .env is here. Go out from this folder, and then you will find it. That's the reason why I am importing .env here. That's fine. I need actually to import a little bit more stuff, if I'm not mistaken. So what do I need to import? What do I need to import? I need to say the path to .env is will be path / something. So what do I need to import? I need to import two module, built-in module. Import path, and what does it? Their name from path. And I need to import file URL. We will see now why we are doing this one. Okay, now I need to load the environment variable. As I told you, load environment variable. If you remember, that was .env config. But the problem is, as I told you, .env is not in the same folder here. So in some operating system, it will not be able to know where is .env. So what I can do here, I can pass the path to this function. But how can I pass the path here? Well, I can just add an object like that. And if I type path, so it has a property called path. And I say my path, it will be path.join, because I have this method, path.join. Path.join. Come on. Path.join. And here I need to create, actually, let me construct my path here. I don't like to pass this one. So construct path. Perfect. File name here. No, I will name it path. So that's what we've been doing so far. I will just name it path like that. And here I will just name it construct path. Voila. So again, why I am doing this stuff? Because simply this guy will not be able to know where is .env. And I need to tell it somehow, okay, .env is here. So what I'm doing here, I'm using path.join. So that's the path, which is the absolute path to the current folder I am inside, which is config. Then I'm telling it, go ... That means go out one directory. Actually, maybe I even don't need that. I can just do it this way. Voila. Like that, it will be even much better. Okay, now that's perfect. What I'm doing here, I'm just telling you, okay, that's the path to this directory. I want you to go up one directory. So if you go up one directory, you will be inside cat API EGS. Then you will find .env there. And that's it. Do you understand why I'm doing that or not? Hello? Guys? You are sleeping?
Yeah. No, we're here.
No, we are
Okay.
trying to understand.
So this guy here is actually, it's just the path, as I told you, because I am inside this folder, it will sometime not be able to see the .env. So I need somehow to tell it, okay, .env is here. That's it. So that's what I'm doing, all of this code here. I'm defining the path to this. Of course, the path, it will be to this folder, which is config. Yeah. And after that, I will say, okay, that's the path to config. I want you to go up one directory, get out, and then you will find .env. Voila, that's simply it is. Okay, now after I defined the absolute path.env should not have any problem. Now I can create something called pool. So what the hell is pool? So I can just say const, sorry for that, const pool, it's equal to, and now here I can just say MySQL. So I can use MySQL dot create pool. Create pool like that. And create pool, of course, it will be a function. And here, this function here, it will accept multiple parameters. So let's see, what parameter do I need in this pool here? Well, first, I will need the host. Can anyone tell me what is the host, as you can see? So what is the host? What is the host? Well, I can go to my, now I can go to my .env, And now I can add some stuff here, which will be DB. So I will make a DB underscore host. And my DB underscore host, it's localhost. And also I need DB database name. So database user, I will choose the root, depending what user have. DB password should be password like that. And DB password here, my password, it's okay. I will allow you to see it. It's root 00. Voila. Should not push this data to GitHub. Huh? So DB password, and after that I will need what is it? I have password. I have host. I have DB name. Where is no DB name? Yeah. So I need to add DB name. So what's the database name? Well, for me, I have database name called demo. For you, you can create a new database. You can name it whatever you want to. So now I need this property. I need the database host. Of course, database host, normally it's a local host because we are doing it in our machine here. If you are doing it on a remote server, you need to add the name of the remote server. But currently, we are doing it in our local machine. What's the database user? We are using root, or at least I'm using root. What is my password? Well, it's root 00. What is the database name? Demo. So I will add this for property inside my .env. And I'm going to hide them like that so no one can see them. And after that, I will come in here. So what is the host? Well, I need to access the host. What should I say? Process. Yes. Process. Yes. Process.env. What was the name? So here host, I think it was called DB underscore host. It was all cap, yes. Voila. So first I need to define the host here. After I define the host, I need to now define, so I've defined the host. I need now to define the user. Which user here? What's the username? So I can just say user, the same idea. User.
Sorry. Do we need params?
No, it's process.env. We don't need param. Process.env, param is not correct. Process.env.db user, and after that I need password, of course. So db process.env db password, I think that should be correct as well. And after that, the last one, I need the database name, if I'm not mistaken. That should be fine. Now here I need to add another property, which is be connection limit. How many connection I should allow to be established. So my pool here, what does pool mean? Well, as the name suggests, pool, it will allow me to make connection to my database. So how many connection I will allow to make to my database at the same time? Of course, we have default value. The default value is 10. So here, if I can say connection, called connection limit, and the default one is 10, as you can see. Again, these are just some setting. You don't really need to remember them because I'm going to give it to you, but that's how we make a connection here. And after that here, if everything is okay, I can now log something. I can log, for example, DB connected successfully or MySQL pool created successfully, whatever you want to. So I'm just going to type MySQL connection pool created. Voila. Again, I'm importing my path, my dir name, my file name. I will need it just to show or to tell my file where is my .env is here. I'm constructing the path, then I'm saying .env config. Normally, we just execute the function. We don't pass anything. But here, actually, this function accept an object. You can pass some parameter, and one of them is path. And the path here, I'm just telling you, okay, that's the path. That's the path to my folder. I want you to go out of this folder, and then you will find .env here. Then I need to create a pool. A pool is multiple connection to my database or my SQL database. And in order to create it, I will just say MySQL, which is I imported MySQL.create pool. It will accept an object as a parameter. I need to pass a host, user, password, and database name. So you need to have a database name. It has another parameter. Of course, there's more a parameter, but what's important for me, it's just those. Connection limit, it's 10. That means I don't want more than 10 connection to my database. So that should be fine. Now, what I need to create now, I'm going to create one function. And this function, whenever I want to connect to my database, I will use the same function. So if I want to do anything, I'm going to use this function. So I will name it just query. So I will just say here, create query. Well, a query function. So what is this query function? My idea here, I can create one function. And later on, every time I need to connect to my database, I can pass my query string. So for example, select all from the table name. I will pass it to this function. And if I have any value also, I need to pass it. We will see what's value now. And this function will do all the job for me. So how can we create this function? So I can just name it const query like that, or whatever you want to name it. This function, it will be a sync function. Can anyone tell me why it will be a sync function? Why it will be a sync function?
Because it's asking for external data.
Yes, because I will use this function to connect to my database, and to connect to my database, this task here, it will take some time. And because it will take some time, we need to make it as a sync task. And that's the reason my function here is a sync. All the time you will see when we deal with MongoDB, when you use Mongoose, all the time the function we are trying to connect to our database, there will be a sync function. Okay, fine. Now let's create a connection. How can I create a connection? Again, you don't need to remember those in detail because simply that's some setting. You can go to the documentation, start for the documentation, and see how all of this is done. So, for example, connection.query, they are creating a function just like us, as you can see. Create connection. So they are using another way here, just create connection, passing user database, blah, blah, blah. But I think the way I am doing it is much more clear. Here they are creating pool, as you can see. Create pool, and they're passing some data, as you can see in this way. So yeah, so now let's write in our function. Because this one is async function, I need to use try and catch in case I have any error. But first I need to create a connection. So I need to tell my connection, my SQL, my database that, okay, this is a new connection. I need to create a new connection. And to create a new connection, I can use my pool here. So if I say pool.create connection, which it has a function. Now this one is object. This guy here, it's an object, and it gives me a lot of function. One of them is just get connection. It will allow me to connect to my database. It has another function, for example. Actually, when I create this one here, let's save it. Let me show you. So I can just say const connection because I'm trying now to connect to my database. So my connection, it's equal to await. I need to wait because it will take some time to create a connection. No, wait. Await. Why my keyboard is not working? Await, and now I can use my pool here, pool dot, and if I say dot C, I have get connection. I have a lot of methods. One of them is get connection. So what this function is going to do here, what this function is going to do here, my pool get connection, it will make a new connection for me. And this guy here, it will return me actually another object. Okay, so now what should I do? I can use try and catch. Just let's do this way. And in here, I will need my catch block. And catch may accept an error. And if I have an error, what should I do? I can just log the error here. So if I have any problem, it will tell me that error while connecting to your database. I will need finally as well. So let's go to finally. And here connection.release. Why I am doing, so if connection actually, I will say if there is connection, then I'm gonna say connection.release. What's that supposed to mean? Well, that's mean when I try to connect to my database and it is a try block, I will now try to connect my database, get the data I want to, or manipulate whatever I want to. If I have any error, I will log the error. And after I am done, if there is any connection to my database, I need to close it. So I should not allow the connection to my database to still open. Okay, I will connect to my database, grab some data, and then I need to close the connection. Otherwise, there may be some security issue. And of course, it will not be performance. If I have a connection to my database and I keep it open, so it will take some part of the memory and it will make my application very slow. So all the time when I try to connect to my database, I will make a connection. And then after that, when I am done with the connection, I get my data, I did what I want, then I will check here and finally, if there is connection, I want you to release it. That means I want to get rid of this connection. Okay, now what do I want to do here? Well, I can use await connection.query. Connection.query. It has a function called query. And here in the query, I'm going to pass my SQL here, which I'm going to write. And also I can pass my para. So what this function is doing here, every time I use this function, I am going to pass my SQL query, which I write, and here it will go to this function query. If I have any parameter, I need to write them in an array, and I need to pass them here. And what is this connection is going to do, it will try to query my data, either get data or update data or delete data or whatever. Now, what this function is going to return, this function is going to return an array. And we cannot see it now because it's not connected to my index.js, but I'm going to show you when I'm creating a table. So this guy was going to return an array. So because it returned an array, I can just destructure it, just say const. I can destructure. So an array, it will be multiple value inside the array. I don't want everything. I just need the result. That's it. So in result, I will have my stuff here. And now here, all I need to do here, I need to return the result. Return result. Voila. Simple. And if I have an error, I can log the error, and also I can return the error. Let's return the error in case I have any error. Simple. No, it should be ERR. Well, of course, now we will go back to this function just to show you. But again, that's just some setting here. You don't need to worry about that. We just defined it one time, and after that, we don't touch it at all. Okay? I will go back to this point here. So after I define everything here, now what I need to do, I need to go to my module. Why my module? Well, simply because here in my module, I have cat. I'm going to get rid of cat. I'm going to create a new module. I will name it user, for example, user.js. Okay. Now in user.js, what should I do here in my user module? Well, first I need to import my query. Why? Because I created this function because I need to use it. I need to use it all the time. I want to connect to my database. I want to get the data. I want to update data. I want to delete data. I create this function for this reason. So now what I need to do here, I need to import this function to my module because now I want to create a table for user. So let me import this guy first. So what I can do here, I can just say import, what was the name of the function? Query from /db. No, it's not correct. It's not. This one is not correct. It's /. So it's // yes, config /db.javascript, and that's the correct one. Okay, I've imported my query, which is nice. Now, what do I need to do? Well, most probably now here in the user module, I will create a table. And remember, we create a table only once. We don't create a table a million times. So here I can just say create a new user table. Because whenever I connect to my database, I will just have the database. I will have nothing. And now here, really, I need to create a table. So how can I create a table? Any idea? Any idea how can I create a table? Well, I can create a function maybe. So I can just say const create user table. And create user table, it will be a async function. Why? Why it will be a async function? Whenever I want to deal with my database, which function I'm going to use? Whenever I want to connect to do anything in my database, which function I'm going to use?
Async query.
Query. So query is async functions. That means I will need the function I am using. Any function I'm going to use this one inside, it must be a async function. So let's go to users here and I make it async function directly. Now I need to write my query. So my query here, it will be in a string and I need to create a table. But how can I create a table? Can anyone remind me how can I create a table? So I can just say const SQL, it's equal to a string, backtick here, like that. It will be a normal string. Now I need to create a table. How can I create a table? Create
Table if not exist.
If not exist, and now I need to close this one and I add semicolon and I can add some space here, of course. And now here, what different property I need? First, I need ID, right? So here I will need, here is just my VS Code suggestion. So I need ID. No, maybe it will be lowercase. No, I want to write them. I don't like them. Okay, I need ID. What type of ID it will be? What type of data
Integer.
ID it will be? It will be integer, or I can use big int, by the way. So we have integer, we have small integer, we have big integer, but for now I will use just here integer. I want it to be primary key, as you know, so primary key auto increment. That's how we learned yesterday. So I want the ID. It will be integer, primary key, space, auto, increment. Okay, now after that, for the user, I need to have an email, right? What email should be email? I can use varchar 255 because I think the email, it will not be more than 255 character. And do I want the email to be null? Do I want to allow to be null or not?
No, not null.
Not null. And also I want it to be
Unique.
unique. So I can just say here, email, come on, email, varchar not null unique. That should be enough for me. For the password, I will need password as well. I can also name it varchar, it's fine. Not null, it's fine. I don't want the password to be not null. But remember, whenever I want to save the password here, you need to hash the password. Remember that, okay? But for now, it's fine. Okay, that's my password, that's my email, and I can add two other columns. This column here, it will show me the date when the user is created. This column, it will be its date, so it will be automatically filled. So I can just say created at, for example, created at its timestamp. That means it will be a time. What is the default value? The default value is the current timestamp. That means whenever I create a user, it will tell me you create. Yes, Daria.
Samir, so since we have our own database, we don't need any more UUID, right?
Yes, we don't need actually any UUID. You are absolutely correct.
So when we will show a single item like cat, it will show ID from database, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Before we use UUID because we needed a unique ID. But in this example, if we are using SQL, even if we are using MongoDB, by the way, most how can I say? Most what is it? What was the word? Most new database, I don't know if it's the correct word, most a little bit current database, which is here in the industry, they create the ID for you automatically. Okay? Because I told you should never create the ID yourself. So created at this one, it will be added automatically. Why? Because I say default current timestamp. That means it will just add some data. Whenever I create a user, it will tell me you create a user this date, in this date, is this date. Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not. Also, maybe I can add update date, which is also the same idea. Timestamp default current on update. So whenever I update any user, it will show me that the update has been done at this time and this time as this time. If I did not update the user, the created and updated art, they will have the same time. Of course, if I updated the user, it will show me. So is that how I can create a table? So it's simple user table. After I write my query, now what I can do now, I can use the function here, which is query. Let me go to query. Well, now in query, as you can see, I need to take two parameters. The first parameter, it will be my query. The second parameter, it will be params. Of course, we don't have any param now. We will see now when we try to get a user, how we can use params. Because we have something called SQL injection. Sometimes it's a security issue, so we need to be careful. But don't worry, I'll show you now. Let me go back to my user here. And now I'm going to use this function. So how can I use this function? Well, I can just say const result like that. It's equal to await. What was the name of my function? Query.sql. So as you can see, I'm passing my SQL here. And now here, all I can do here, I can just log the result in case it was working or not. Of course, I did a big mistake. Can anyone tell me what's the mistake I am doing here? What's the mistake? I should add all of the time inside try and catch block because it's async function. So we never know. All the time, it will be a good idea to add it inside a try and catch block. And here, of course, if I have an error, I will just log the error. That's it. Now, what I can do here, I can now export this table, export default create table user. Now, after I export this table now, I will import it inside my index. Why? Because simply so far, the module here, they are really not connected to, index. So this file here, the index, my server does not know about it. So to create this table, I can just import it here. So I can go here. I am importing, where is it? Just config. Yeah, this session, maybe I can get rid of this session. Let's get rid of this one for now. I don't need session. It looked like I choose the wrong one. But anyway, Let's get rid of this one. Let's get rid of this one. I have cookie parser. You will have your own. This one here, I think I just add the session here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to just import my table. Maybe I can just here import tables. Well, where was my table here? So I can just say import. What was the name? Create user table. It was inside /module user.js. And of course, here, this function here, this create table, create user table, what does it export? It exports a function, right? So all I need to do now to execute it, and my table should be created. And I will be able to show you everything. So let's go back in here. And what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to execute this function here. Go here. Let's go here, and let's see here, create table. Voila, create table user. Let's run my server and see if my table is being created or not. So I can just say npm run dev. Okay, it looks like I have a problem. Unknown database demo. Okay, just as you can see, I encounter an error. So whenever I'm trying to connect here, now I have an error. What is the error? So the error is telling me there's a database here. I don't know what is your database. The demo does not exist. Demo. Why? It should have a database actually called demo. Let's see.
Maybe yesterday you dropped it.
Maybe. Let's check it. So I can just say MySQL. I am using root, so I will go inside the root. No, the root was root ... And here, what is the command to show database? Show data bases. Voila, I have them actually. DEMO. It should work. Let's see. Let's see this one. Actually, DB name, it's correct. Yeah, I have this one, it's wrong. So because I am in .env, I should not have a semicolon here. Okay, let's try to connect again. Let's see. Control C. Let's run our server again. Voila. So as you can see, so the result is showing me that the field count, everything. So I have my result here. And my result actually is coming from this one here. So the result is coming back from this guy here. It is an object. As you can see, it will show me how many fields being affected, how many rows being affected. So it will show me some data. That means my table is being created successfully. So I can check actually. So what I can do, either I can go inside my VS Code, or I can just check here. So here I can just say use. How can I use database? Use demo. We've seen it yesterday. So now I'm using demo. What I can say here, I can just say show tables to show me all the tables. And here I have table user, but I'm going to drop this table user. So what I'm going to do, just to make sure it's 100% correct, click. So I'm going to drop this table just to make sure it is drop table. What's the name of the table? It was user, right? Users. You may tell me why you are doing that. I'll tell you now why I'm doing that. Users. So I've dropped it. That's great. Again, show tables. Show tables. And currently I don't have tables. That's great. Why? What's the reason I'm doing that? Because here, as you can see, I'm saying create table if not exist. That's mean if yesterday I remember I created a table called user. That's mean if my query run and there is already a table called user, it will not create a new one. That's the reason why I deleted, to make it sure that I will have a new table. So let's run npm run. npm run dev. Click. And as you can see here, everything is fine. My SQL connection pool is being created successfully. I have the result, and my table should be created successfully as well. And now if I go now to my SQL here and I say show, what was the command? Show tables, right? Tables. Voila. And as you can see, I have user. Now I want to see how the user look like. So what was the command? Can anyone remember what was the command? It was describe, right? Describe. What is the name of my table? It's users, if I'm not mistaken. And voila. So as you can see here, my table here. So it's telling me you have an ID. The ID is in the null. No, it's not allowed. Its primary key, the default is a null. Of course, it will not allow null. It's auto increment, which is really nice. Okay, what is the email? It's varchar. Null is not allowed. A key, it's nothing here. Is not defined. Default value is null. Don't worry about that. Varchar, not allow null. And here, as you can see, I have created at and updated at. Null here, it will accept null values. That means I don't have to pass them. Actually, what SQL is going to do, or MySQL is going to do here, it will generate these data automatically, so I don't have to import inside them, as you can see. Cool? Cool or not cool? Yes?
Yes.
That's nice. But I realize the setting here, maybe it's a little bit difficult for you, but you need to remember something. You will really not do this setting every day. Setting, again, is from the documentation. You just need to learn how to do that. And most of the project, I will give you the setting with the function. But what you need to do, you need to know how to use this one. So you need to know how to use, you need to write your query like that. And after that, use this function, pass your query, and you will have the result. I created a table user. It's very nice. It's fine. Everything is good. Now, what I want to do now, I'm not sure in my controller, do I have users? I don't really have a user, but I'm going to create a controller user, let's say. Fine. I don't have controller here, but what I can do, let me create a new user. Fine. I'm just trying to insert the user.js here. Okay, now for you, what you need to do, after I created my table, you will have your controller. So I can just say const user controller, controllers. Of course, you need to authenticate the user as we learned. So you need to authenticate the user and everything. But here in my project, I don't have authentication. I'm not going to do them. You already know how to do it. It's fine. But now what I'm going to do, I will try just to insert a user. So let's just create a function. Let's name it add user, for example. And this function was going to do here, it will try to just to add a user. I will have a request response. I don't want for now. I will not. Of course, you need to have your function need to be async first, async, and you will have request response like that. Why I make my function async again? Why did I make my function async? Why did I make my function async? Why did I make my function async? What is the query? What is the query?
Asynchronous.
It's asynchronous functions. That means it will return a promise. That means in my controller from now on, whenever you are dealing with a database, even if it's MongoDB or SQL, or even when you are using an ORM, all the time your controller, it will be a async function. Okay, now I make it async. Why? Because I need to use a query here. So what do I need to do here? It's simple. I'm not gonna authenticate anything. I just want to show you how can I add user. I can update user, delete user, and update user only. I'm gonna show you that. But the rest you already know. Of course, you will have your logic here, and after that, when you want to add the user, then you use this function. Okay, fine. Now, what do I need to do? Well, simply I need to write my query. So I can just say const query, or you can name it whatever you want to. And here I can just insert into users, because that's my name of my table, email value. And here I have value question mark, question mark. So what the hell is question mark, question mark? Question mark, question mark here, we normally do not add the value directly. So the value here, we should not put it here. Why? Because if we put it here, sometime someone can access your SQL query here, and after that can add another value. And in order to prevent that, that's the reason why in my function, I have something called param here, which will be an array. Now, instead of passing this value here, which will be my username and email, I can just, instead of that, I can pass question mark, like that, question mark, question mark. And now here I can just say const params. So I can define my params like that, no, params. And params, I told you it will be an array. And here, let's define anything I want to. Let's say I want the email I want to add to be sam@gmail.com. Here like that, and the password here I will not hash it. I will just enter any password for now. Voila. So as you can see, I'm just preparing my query. That's my query. Insert into user. Okay, when I want to insert a value inside the user, I will pass. What do I need to add it? ID. I don't need to add ID because it auto increment. Email, yes. If I go back to my table here, email, I need to add it. Password, I need to add it because both of them not know. Here is a timestamp. I don't need to add it. So now I just need to add an ID and password. And remember, in real scenario, your password will be hashed. So after you do all the hashing, all these authentications, then you will have these guys. Then you write your query. That's fine. So I will put question mark here, question mark here. After I put question mark, I will just create an array param. So here, this question mark, the first value, it will be this one. The second value here, it will be this one. Okay. And now here I can use my query. So I can just say const result. It's equal to await query. And now here I'm passing my query, I'm passing my param, as you can see. And now, of course, here you can pass try and catch as well if you want to. So you can pass all of that inside try and catch block. And that will be a good approach, actually. So you can just use try and catch. Just in case I have any error, I can catch it. Something like that. So let's add this one. And let's see if that's going to work or not. But currently, in user controller, my user controller is not connected to anything, as you can see. So this user controller is not connected to any routes because I don't have routes. So maybe I can create a user route. So let me create users. It's okay. User.js. User.js. And now here, let me create a simple route here. So I'm going to copy from the cat directly. Copy. And I put it here. And in here, I don't need all of that for now. I will just need just one thing here. I will just different function in user. So I will just let's name it user controller. Yes, user controller. So that's coming from user controller, which will be good. Yeah, that's right. That's fine. And here I will just say router dot get. I'm trying to add a user, right? So here I will just name it add. I will try to get all the user. Here should be post, actually. The method should be post. Okay. Get all user. I want get as well. No. Get. I will just say get. And here I will just say get. And here I'm getting one. Let me just move that one to the top. You understand what I'm doing, right? Hello. So now what I'm going to do here, I will try to get all the users. Of course, now I need to create a controller for that. So what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying now to get all users. So get one specific user, then I will try to add a user, then I will try to delete a user. So router dot, that shouldn't be post, that should be a put, because I'm trying to update user. And here as the last one, it will be delete because I'm trying to delete a user. Let me go to my controller, which is users here. Now in user, I have add already function, which is good. So I have add. I want to add also few function. So I will need get all. Get all. And it will be a sync function here, but I don't want to write anything for now like that. So let me just do this one. I want to be able also to get one user, and I want to be able to add a user. I want to be able to delete a user, update a user, sorry. Update user. So update user, what do we name it? We name it update. Update like that. And I need to be able to remove a user, so I'll name it remove. So here, add form, I don't care about the form for now. I just want to be able to get all user, get one user, add user, update user, and remove user. Voilà. Of course, I am importing this guy if I am not mistaken. So I am importing user controller from /controller/user. That's good. And now here, all I need to do, I need to pass the function here. So let me pass the function. It will be get all. And in here, it will be get one. And here, it will be add, right? In here, it will be update. In here, it will be delete. Remove or delete. Okay, now I need to import this route because I don't have it here. So let me import my route. I'm creating the table, and here, let me import my route. Import routes. What was my route here? It was import user route from /route user. That's okay. And now I need to use my route here. Use set route or use route. Yeah, app.use. I'm not gonna use anything here. I'm just gonna use route like that for now. It's just a demo. Voila. Fine. Now everything is connected actually. And as you can see here, it looked like that I have some stuff here. So let's go here and let's see if a user has been added correctly. I don't know. Let me check if the user has been added or not. What I can do now, you can use, how can I see all the user? I can say select all from, what was the name of the table? Users, right? And it's empty set. I have nothing currently. Why I have nothing? Because simply, am I sending any request here, guys? Am I sending any request here? Yes, no. Am I sending any request?
No.
So I need to send a request. User table is being created successfully. Is that what I want? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to send a request to this route, which will be /add. And what /add should we do when it hits /add? It will go to this guy. And this guy already, it will try to insert a user with email and password this way. And after that, I can check it in my database to see if it will work or not. So let me expand this guy. User table is created. That's good. That's fine. And now I need to go to /add, right? So it was localhost. How much was 5.4? The port was 5.4, and now /add. Now, if I click enter, let's see what will happen. So I don't know if it's been added a new one or not. Why not found? Not found. Not found. I'm not sending anything, right? So I'm not sending back anything. That's the reason why it's giving me nothing. But now I can go check my table. So let's select all from user. Why? Why user is not being added? Okay. User table created successfully. That's good. Let me log the result here. Log result, or maybe I can actually debug it because I know when I send a request to this one, it should come to here. And I can see the result here. Let's try to hit it this way. And let's try to go to 5004/add. Click. I'm not coming here. There is something wrong. I'm not coming here. Express.eng user route /route user.js. Export default router. Yes. /controller UJS. Yes. And in here it should be here. So it looks like it does not see my route. Why? Not sure why. We have user routes. Yeah, but it look, I'm not sure if I'm using. Now I'm using them, it's correct. Import user route from /routes, which is correct, /user.js. Anyone can see the problem, guys? Creating table, I'm creating the table. And if I go to the route, I have users here. And user controller here, /controllers /users. Am I exporting the controller? Yes, I am exporting the controller.
But the express import express, he has some dots. It's a problem or no?
I don't think so. I could not find. No, it should not be actually that's problem, because if I have any problem, it should show me. In package.json, I do have express. Okay, let's try again. Control C. Let me remove this one. Let me see npm I. Should be fine. npm run div. Okay, table is created successfully. Everything should be fine actually. And here, if I go to localhost 5004, which is 5004, and /add, so I should come here actually. /add. Okay, fine. Let me add something here just to make sure this guy is coming. .use user route. So let's just add API /API /API / here use user route. It should be fine. And now what I need to do, I need to go to just inside users .get .post here with add is okay. What the fuck is going on here? Has any type, try npm save at type express. No, it shouldn't be any problem actually. Let's just go here to users. Let's put a breakpoint here. Let's try again. Yeah.
Now you add API /add.
True. API / it will not work again. Or actually, the reason it's not going to work because I'm doing a post request. So the reason why it's not working because here the method is post, and what I'm doing in the server, I'm not doing any post. So I need actually to use Postman. Let me go to Postman. Not you. Voila. So let me go to my friend Postman. And in Postman here, I can now do whatever I want to. So here the method is post. That's okay. It's local API and it was /add, right? And do I need to pass any data? No, I don't need to pass any data. Let's send the request. Internet server error. At least now I'm getting an error. So let's see what's the problem. Okay, query is not a function, which is good. So in user controller, it's telling me query is not a function, which is okay. Now let's go here. Not here. Query is not a function. Yes, because I have two variables with the same name. Great. Let's say str query. So what I can do here, I can just do this one and I can do this one. I have two variables with the same names. That's the reason why it's doing this way. Let's try again. Let me go to my Postman. Yep, and click it. And as you can see now, I have no response, which is great. Why? Because simply I have the result. So inserted ID 1. So it's been inserted. Why it's just looping this way? Because I'm not sending any response. So now here, if I send a response, let's say res.status 200 user have added successfully. Let's try again. I'm gonna stop my Postman because yeah. Let's go here. Now, if I check my database, notice select all from users. Clicking, and as you can see now, I have user with ID 1sam@gmail.com password and created as the data is added being automatically and updated data is being added automatically, as you can see. Yeah. Is it clear, guys? Yes, no?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you create. First, you need to, in your module, you need to create your table. And of course, to create a table, you already know the basic how to create a table. You need to define your column. What column do you want? You can add this column all the time here. I created that and updated that. After you need to, by the way, you need to make sure that your table is created before. So here, as you can see, there is a reason why I'm adding create table before the route here. So I need to make sure that my table is created. And you don't need to worry about create a table again and again. Why? Because simply when I create my table, I say, where's my table? I say create table if not exists. That means if it's created one time, I don't have to create it again and again and again. So that's fine. Okay, now I've learned how I can add a new user. So simply all I have to do, I need to create my string query, which will be inserted into user, email, and password. Remember, if you have any value, you will not directly import it inside this string. Why? Because if there is any let's say, if someone can access this one here, it can change the value, and that's what you call SQL injection. It's kind of security problem. So what I'm doing here, yes. Question? So what I'm doing here, instead of passing the value, I will just pass question mark, and then here I can pass my param. Remember, the order is important here. So first one question mark, it will go for, so this one, it will replace by this one. SQL, MySQL do that for you. You don't want to worry about that. All you need to worry about, put question mark, and you will pass the param here in an array. So what MySQL is going to do, it will come here, question mark, that's the first placeholder. It will come here, what's the first value? It will replace this one with this one, replace this one with this one. And that's it. Now we learn how to add a new user. Now I want to also to be able to get all users. And also I want to be able to get one user. Currently I don't have all users, I just have one user, but I want to do the same. So it will be the same idea exactly. I need to create my query, so I can just say const string query. Do not name it query because the name of my function is query, and if you name it query, you will have a problem. Okay, string query, select all from users because I want to get all the users. Do I have any param I want to pass here in this stuff here? Do I have any params? Question mark I need to add? No, because in this value I am passing some value here. I'm not passing any value. So all I have to do, I can just say const result. It's equal to await query, and I will pass my string here. Of course, all the time it will be a great practice if you put it inside try and catch block. Why? Because try and catch block, in case something go wrong, it will just help you to catch the error. And here I can just do this one, for example, and for this one I can do this one, and I can send the response also if I want to. Status, I can send the result to the user. What is going on here? I need to just close it this way. Voila. Okay, fine. So now what I'm going to do here, I will try to get all user. In order to get all user, I need to know which route I am using. The route I am using is just /get, and the method is get. So let's go here, see if that will work or not. Actually, it should work with my browser as well. So I add API, if I'm not mistaken, and I have get all. It was get all or get was get. And as you can see here, see, pretty bring. So as you can see, what is returned here? It will return me an array. Why? Because I'm trying to get all the users. So it will return me an array, and currently I have only one user, and the ID is 1. The email is this guy, the password is this guy, and it's created at this one and it's created at this day. Is it clear how we can get all the users? Yes, guys, or no? It's what we learned, but now you write your query inside a string and pass it to this function. I will give you the function, I will give you the setting. You just need to know how to implement these simple guides. Yes, question. How secure to store the user data? How secure to store the user data? How can we prevent the leak of user data? Well, to prevent the leak of user data, first you need to make sure that the password you not have it. If you have multiple users, you need to make sure that your data, not a lot of users, even only the users that you want them to access, you need to give them the access to your database. That's first. Second, when you try to add any query, as I told you, you should not add the value directly here in value, because if someone can access this query here, it can change the value. So we need to replace them with what we call params. So just replace it by question mark, and then params. That's another way. And yeah, I think that's the most important way to secure your database. So you need it's the password. You need to not know anyone access it, and you need to be careful with SQL injection, because SQL injection is quite a big problem actually. Did I answer your question, Daria?
Yes, thank you, Sam.
Okay, now we know how to insert a new user. We know now how to get all users. But now I need to know how can I get one user. By the way, it will be the same, but I need to just modify something here. It will be the same as this one. Select all from user where ID is equal to the ID I want to write. So let's try to write our query like that. I will need to use try and catch block. I don't have the ID here, so I know I have one user with ID 1 for now. Notice what I did here. Select all from user where ID is equal to question mark. Again, I will not put the value here directly in my string. I'm just putting question mark. So it's just a placeholder here. And here in my param, I will just create an array all the time, and I will pass the first value. And then here I can pass my, just say, await query. I'm using the same function, string query param, and here it will give me the result. So let's try to run this query and see if it will give me with user with ID 1 or not. And now here, all I need to pass get/1, which will be the ID. Of course, I currently have one user. Now we notice what's the difference between get all user. It give me an array. But if I get by ID, notice what it will give me. What the hell happened? It looked like I have an error. Why? ID is not defined. True, ID is not defined. Of course, because I did not give it an ID. Let's just say const ID, it's equal to 1. Actually, I can bring it from the param to true. Let's just grab it from the param because I'm saying here. So I will pass the ID from the param, which will /ID, and that it will solve the problem. So let's go here. I'm passing, as you can see, as a param, click, and as you can see, still return me an array, and with a unique user here, as you can see. How strange! I was expecting that it will return me an object, but it looked like it returned an array. That's strange. Let me try with Postman. So I have get, and the method should be get. So let's try to run this guy. It gives me an array, and I have only one user, which is nice. But if I say /1, clicky, it's give me again an array with the same user. And here I have one user, that's the reason why. But if I get all here, if I have multiple users, it will show me all the users. Anyway, is the idea clear here? Do you know now how to get all user, get one user, how to add a user using MySQL? Yes, no? Guys?
Yes.
Yes, now you need to implement it, by the way. You need now to implement it. So after you do authentication, you have the user hash password, and after that you have the user email. And then here you can just write your query. If you need param, you can write param, and then you need to use this function to insert it in your database. Okay, now I have update and delete. To update user, of course, I will need an ID, as you know that. So let's try to get the ID. I will get it also from the param. So we can just say update const ID. I will get it from the param. And after that, I can now write my SQL query. So we can just say const SQL query. How did I update it the last time? It was update. Update my table name. What is the table name? User. And I need to set here you can change either email or password or both. And notice here the email here also I'm not passing the value, I'm just passing question mark as a placeholder, password question mark, and here ID where ID is question mark. Now how can I present this value now? How can I pass this value? I need to use, what do I need to use? You are with me? I need to use params. Yeah, so my params, it will be array. Let's import something. I will just name it jack@gmail.com, for example. And in here, I will pass a new password. So I don't know what's the password. I will just make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course, your password, you should never save it this way. You need to hash it. You know that. ID here, I will grab it from here. And what I can do now, I can call my function. So my function here, it will be just const result. It will be equal to await query. I'm passing my SQL query. I'm passing params. And yeah, I can just log the results for now. And of course, it would be a great practice if I put all of those. I can not put the ID, but anyway, I can put it inside the try and catch block. That's good practice. If I have an error, I will just log the error and send something. And the rest, I will just put this one. Voila. Now, what I need to do now, voila. What I need to do now, I need to test this guy here. How can if updating user is work or not? So remember, I need to pass the ID. I only have one user, and I need to add. I will not, actually, I don't need to pass any data here. I'm just adding dummy data. But in your case, you will need to grab the data from request.body, and you will have everything is in you create your SQL query. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to Postman, and I'm going to change the method to put. And what was the route? Anyone remember what was the route? The route is update. So it was API/update/IT. And here API/update. So I'm trying to update one. Let's see if that will work or not. So if I click, I'm not getting any response. That's okay, but I'm getting a result here, as you can see. So how many row is being affected? One. That means it is working actually successfully. So it is working fine. Invalid or unexpected token. Yeah, but I fixed it. So I'm quite sure the user is being updated. How could I know? Well, it's quite simple. Let's go to my database. Stop, cancel, stop. It's being updated. How can I do so? Well, I can just say select all from users. So my user, old one, the email was Jack, Sam at Gmail. Now it's Jack. Password was this one. Now it's being updated, and the date also should be updated. No, the date created is the same, but the date updated should be different, as you can see. Is the idea clear, guys? Yes? No? Yeah, because
Samir, I have a question, but it's not related to
yes,
this one. Is it possible to make a copy of database?
of course. Normally, we can create a file. Actually, now we can copy all our database on our local machine. Unlike that, we save them in case something happened to database and like that. So I will teach you this one as well. So it's simple command. If you want to make a copy of the database, it's simple command. You just write the command. It's a little bit long, but you'll just copy paste it, and it will make a copy on your desktop. Okay?
Okay.
It is possible.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. The last task I need to do now, I need to delete user. And lucky for me, I have only one user. So let's try to remove this user. How can I remove this user? Well, it will be the same idea. I need to use try and catch block first. And here in try and catch block, if I have an error, I'm going to log this one. And now here, of course, what I need to do now, I need to first write my, I need to grab the ID. So I can just say const ID. I mean, that's what you've been doing. I have the ID now. I need to write my SQL query. So I can just say const SQL query. It will be delete from user where ID is question mark placeholder. I need params now. Our param here, it will be an array with one value. Even if you have one value, this param must be an array. Remember that. Now I can use my function. So I can just say const result is equal to await query. I need to pass my SQL query and my param. And of course, I will have the result. And if result is okay, now I can just say user is being deleted successfully. So let's try to do that. The route, it will be /delete, and I need the ID. My user ID is 1. So I just need to update this one, and I need to update the method to delete. Voila. And now if I click on this guy, user deleted successfully. Just to make sure that it's been working, I need to go to my database. And here I can just say select all from user. And as you can see, it's empty set. Is it quite clear, guys? Yep, no. If you have a question, you can ask, because now it's your turn to do some fun with database. So what do I want from you? Well, I'll pick another project because my project here is not completed. So let me go to another project. But all my code is here. Fine, it's okay. Let me just open another project. My project, I will open all of them. What was the last project I did? Let's pick flight, for example. I think I pick this one. Voila. So first, what you need to do, you need to copy this setting. I'm going to copy this setting, and I will go to flight, for example. I choose flight. You can choose whatever you want to. This setting, a copy paste. Okay. I will give you this setting by default. It's not a problem here. So I have my setting. I have everything. That's fine. And after that, when I create this setting, now what I need to do, I need to create a table. So I have flight and user. Yeah, actually, that's it. I just need this setting. And maybe in my .env, I will need this value as well. So I can copy this value. And I can go, I'm inside flight here. I'm gonna add these guys here. That should be fine. And now what I can do, I will just go to my flight project. My project, where is flight? Voila, that's flight API. Okay, in flight, what I need to do, I'm gonna run my npm. I'm just gonna run my server, but before that, I want to drop this table, which is user show tables, because I mean, I have you now this user. I want to drop it because I want to use the same database. If you want to create a new database, it's fine with me as well. It's totally up to you. So drop table users. It's been dropped. Everything's fine. Now let's go back to my project. And what do I need to do? Well, first I'm gonna do this one, npm run dev, which should be good. Your job is first you need to go to route. You already have all the route, if I am not mistaken. So in flight you have add flight, get flight. You have all these guys. That's good. In user you have login, this one, but you don't have add user, delete user, and these routes. So what you can do, you can add more routes. For example, route.get, add new user, for example, or delete user, or update user if you want to. Do you understand what I'm saying or not, guys? Yes? So you need to add more route here. Router dot, for example, you want to add a new user, the method, it will be post. And here, instead of logout, you can just say add user, for example, add user. And here you will need to create a new function to add a new user, for example, and so on and so on and so on. If you want to add it, actually, no, we are adding a new user here. In register, we are adding a new user. In login, we are logging and log out here. So we are adding a new user. You don't need to create a new user, but you can update or get all user or get one user or delete user if you want to. So you can add more route. As for adding, we are doing it here. Okay, so the first step here, it will be in flight here. I need to go to this guy here and I need to delete it. Why? Because simply now I know how to create SQL, so I really don't need this guy, all of it. But I need to import something from my config here. As you can see, I need to import this query here, this guy. So I'm gonna go here and now I'm going to flight and I need to say import query from config db.js. Remember this function here, it will allow me to create or do anything in my database. Fine, now here I need to create a table which is for user. So I can just say create table, actually it's for flight, not for user, for flight, or create table flights, let's name it, flights. So now I need to write my query, so I can just say const, I will just create a function just like I did. And now here in this function, I can export it because I need to import it inside my index.js. And okay, now in this function, I make it async function because I'm planning to use query. And as you know, query is async function, so it will return my promise. So as a function, I am calling it inside also need to be async. Fine, so now I just need to read my query, so I can just say const SQL, or you can name whatever you want to. SQL query is the most important thing. The name must not be as the name of the function, otherwise you will have a problem. So here, create table if not exist flights. And I can just do this one. I can close it. And here I need to close the template literal. Yeah, but here I need a template literal as well. Okay, now I can go inside it just like we did. I can add an ID. So I will add an ID. I will add a lot of stuff here. So let me add ID. You can add this stuff, whatever you want to. I don't mind. Now here, we should remove this one. So you play with your table. You will create whatever table you want to. Cannot find package yes, because I did not install MySQL 2. So create table if not exist. You can add ID, flight. You can add created at. You can add updated at. It's fine with me. Will you do with whatever you want to? And you will create these two tables. After you create this table, of course, you need to come here in the index and you need to import your table. So we will go in here before the route, and here you can just say import tables like that. And here it will be create flight table. It will be from /module. Yes, that's correct. And now, of course, you need to execute it because it's a function. If you don't execute it, it will not work. So I'm going here before these guys here, and I can just say here execute table or create table. And now here I will execute the function, and voila. And you need to do that for user, and you need to do that for flight. After you created your table, what you can do now, you can go to your controller. And as you can see here, what we are doing here, when we're getting all the guys, that's fine. We are getting all of them. So you need to replace this because I don't have flight class anymore. I've removed it. So now I need to update my code. So how can I update my code? I told you the first step here, your function need to be. What type of function you need to be? What function your function need to be? We are dealing with real database. So it need to be async. Good. And after it's been async, now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get all users. So I will put a try and catch block. Voila. And of course, if I have an error, I can just log the error and send a response to the user. There's something wrong with database, blah, blah, blah. Now let's log them first. So error. And here I can send a response if I want to, like that. Of course, you can send JSON if you want to, or you can also send HYF. It's the same idea. Nothing was gonna change. I mean, we are not changing anything. What we are changing really is where we are saving our database. Before we are saving it just in an array. Now we were saving it in a real database. What the hell? Why would you have this one? Try and catch this. I think I am forgetting one. Voila. Okay, so I will handle this one after that. Now what I can do, I can just say const. I'm trying to get all of them, right? So I can just say const SQL query or whatever you want to name it. You need to write your query in a string, select all from flight, for example. And then what you need to do here, do we need any params? We don't need any params. So we can execute the function directly. And I can just say here, const result or flight or whatever you want to name it. It's fine with me. Await query dot, and you will pass your SQL here. Now you will have your result. Of course, we've seen that the result, it will be an array. And here, because it's an array, you can pass it directly to HGS if that's what you want to. Or if you want to send it in a JSON format, I also don't mind. But I think you are already using HGS, so it will be nice just to pass it to HGS and you'll see your array. Is the idea clear what you need to do, guys? Yes, no? For everyone? If not clear, let me know. I can explain it again. I don't mind. It's not big difference. Your code, it's already, you done your code. All you have to do now, you will just make your in handler. I'm sorry, in controller, you will make your function a sync function. Yeah, you make it a sync function. Why? Because simply, what the hell I am doing here? That's not correct, actually. I shouldn't import this one from module. I need to import the query. Import query. Yes, I need to import the query because the query will do the job. So I'm importing the query function and I'm using the query function. Okay, so all you need to do, you have your data. When you register a user, you authenticate the user, you have the email, you have the stuff, and you need somehow to write the query to either save it in database or if you want to get user or if you delete user, you write your query. If you have some data you need to pass in your SQL query, you should replace it with a question mark. For example, where ID is equal to question mark, and then you need to define the parameter in an array, you pass the value, and then you use the function and you will have the result. I think it should be clear if I'm not mistaken. Yes, no? Yes, no?
Like it was very fast and very confusing and yeah.
Very confusing and very fast.
Yeah, for me.
What was fast about it?